Is the term student athlete officially dead? We're going to talk about that and a lot more. Right now, it's Offside Sports. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Offside Sports. We're live from the Loft 100 studios in Southern California, and we are brought to you, as always, by Turtle Box Audio. Don't be afraid about what other people are saying or doing. You listen loud and you listen proud. Find them at turtleboxaudio.com. Allison Ratzlaff, Dave Palet. Good to see you guys again, as always.
See everybody.
Morning.
Yeah. So there was this, before we talk about what the NCAA and the House have agreed upon, Dave, you may know this, Allison, you may know it too, when Eric Dickerson was playing football at SMU.
Yes.
And it was the Pony Express, and they were a great team in the Southwest Conference at that point.
Yep.
What was the phrase? Was it ponies, penthouses, and Porsches? Or there was the three Ps, because eventually SMU would get the death penalty from the NCAA because they were obviously paying their players and there were improper benefits and stuff, and people thought, well, this is really going to taint Eric Dickerson's image going forward as he runs into the Pro Football Hall of Fame from the various teams he played for. Does that seem like it is 1,000 years ago?
It seems like 1,000 years ago, and it's almost embarrassing, right, to see that they were punished. There was a death penalty for the football program. So Eric Dickerson obviously becomes a Hall of Famer, had a great career with the Rams and the Colts and the Raiders and the Falcons.
Yeah.
Craig James ends up playing in a Super Bowl for the Patriots.
Right.
Ron Meyer, who's the coach, ends up being the head coach of the Colts. I mean, it worked out for everybody that was involved in money except for the school and the people that were alumni of the school.
Yeah.
They paid the price.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, SMU didn't have a football program.
But even athletes have been affected. Look at Reggie Bush.
Sure.
I mean,
exactly.
he did they give his parents money for a home? Did they, he got his things taken away from him?
There was a great running back back in the early 80s named Marcus Dupree.
Yep.
And he was one of the famed running backs for when Barry Switzer was still coaching at the University of Oklahoma. And I read a great book when I was in college. It was called The Courting of Marcus Dupree. And it talks about everybody and their mother wanted Marcus Dupree to come run the football for them. And it was the quintessential, somebody walks into the family room, if you go here, and they would slide an envelope across the table. And Barry Switzer ended up, and I'm not going to say that he paid the most money or he gave Marcus Dupree's parents the best house or the best car, but Barry Switzer won the Marcus Dupree sweepstakes.
Yep.
So you have to assume where we are today, hindsight being 2020, there were probably improper benefits that were paid to the Dupree family. Now, he would go on, he played USFL, blew his knee out, and really was never heard from again. Well, let's fast forward to today. The NCAA and the House have agreed to drop these 3 antitrust lawsuits, and now it is okay for schools to pay student athletes.
Yep.
And with that said, and it kind of give you the parameters of what we're talking about, the 3 antitrust suits were dropped. There is a $20.8 million cap that individual Division I schools have to spend now on athletes in their program. And we'll talk a little bit later on the show about what the back pay is going to be for people who've already been in and out of the program. Allison, is it a situation where you look at it and say, finally, it's about time? We're living in the NIL era as we speak, or is this just too far beyond the pale?
Well, I think the student athletes, there's two sides. People complain about, well, they're already getting their education, their housing, their meals.
You're right.
But some of these kids, they are scraping by with nothing. And they still are, the cream of the crop are getting the big bucks, the big NIL deals. The kid on the sideline or the kid with no brand or whatever who isn't setting records, he's not making any money, or very, very little, because there's no oversight for it. So I think this will add some oversight to where more of them are going to get paid more. It does not that it's all going to be equal, and it shouldn't be, but that they're all going to be taken care of a little bit more than they are now.
Do we stop calling them student athletes and just call them minor league?
I mean, they're professionals, right? The rule is if you get paid for something,
you're exactly right.
you're a professional.
Thank you for saying that.
And so it becomes very frustrating for me. Like, I've never been that guy, the get off my lawn guy, but I sound like a get off my lawn guy right now. I wish it was basically the way it used to be, because we all knew the problems even going back to the Olympics, right? What was the difference of the United States athletes compared to the other athletes that were getting paid? Well, our guys weren't getting paid. Now all of a sudden, going all the way back, the Dream Team in '92, you had paid guys. Well, fine, it's the best of the best representing your country. For me, in college sports, it's a big deal to get a college education. Anyone who's ever paid student loans knows you're getting something. You're getting an opportunity to get the most out of your education. Well, that's not enough anymore. So now you're getting guys who are not only getting paid, they're getting paid more than if they would go pro. We just saw a situation where Georgia quarterback decided to transfer to get another deal to go to Miami. Instead of going to the NFL because he would have taken a pay cut. And that used to be a running joke. Remember Larry Johnson at UNLV? Oh, man, he's going to take a big pay cut when he goes to the NBA. But this is where we're at right now, Allison.
And Duke's Cooper Flagg made, what did he make?
$20 million.
Over $20 million, 23, I think, and in NIL money, and now he's going to the NBA, but
taking a pay cut.
Right, exactly, to be pro.
So anyway, Mike, for me, though, as a sports fan, I feel like I have my pro teams, I have my college teams. And it doesn't feel the same way being a fan of college sports anymore.
I do not like I do like the fact that they can profit off of their name, their image, and their likeness. But when that rule was first passed, I always thought to myself, if I'm a car dealer in Georgia, because you just talked about Beck, and I've signed him up to be my car dealer spokesman. Hey, come down and sign autographs on some arbitrary day, and I'm going to put you in some commercials, et cetera, et cetera. If he starts playing not as well as I think he should, hey, Beck, it's Costa. You want me to send guys to break your legs? You better play better, buddy. Click off. And I always thought about that pressure on top of these kids when they, and I don't know how many of them would go right to a lawyer and say, hey, this is my NIL deal I've been offered. Can you look through this to make sure it's kosher? I think a lot of them, Allison, as you talked about, are coming from situations where they're not coming from a lot of money. There's not a lot of wealth, and they're just grabbing it as soon as possible.
Well, in the age of social media, where brands and corporations and businesses have figured out, hey, I can use these kids. I can give them some money. They can spread it out. They don't have to do any work except write a check. So, pay these kids to put it all over their social media with all the following these especially the high-level athletes have. They're getting great marketing without having to do any work except write the check. So, I mean, it's the kids, I think, are being used in a lot of ways.
Have you felt that
sometimes I'd like to be used if that's the case? I mean,
I wish someone would use the hell out of me in college.
I mean, I remember, as a person who follows Alabama football, Isaiah Bond was their best wide receiver 2 years ago. Well, he leaves to go to Texas. As soon as he gets there, he gets a Lamborghini. Okay, and he's not the only one. They give everyone on this football team allegedly a Lamborghini, which is really smart to give to me a bunch of 18 to 22-year-old kids cars that go 200 miles an hour, and let's see what happens. But that's the move. Hey, if you're giving me a Lamborghini and Ole Miss isn't, guess what? I'm going to the school that gives me a Lamborghini.
Well, where I'm bringing in the using them part of it is going along with what you said. Then are they holding it over their heads, though? I'm going to send someone to your house and take your girlfriend? I mean,
the three of us, and I'll use this show as an example, the people who pay for this show, who allow us to do the show, they trust us that we're not going to go on the air and for an hour just drop the most vile, disgusting stories or F-bombs or things like that. So we've accepted to do this show, but we've also accepted the responsibility that within the parameters of the show to do a professional job. And if you're going to take a Lamborghini from the school and you're going to transfer there because you want the Lamborghini, then it's on you to be responsible, not drive 100 miles an hour across campus, perform at a high level that Texas is expecting you to do it, and also to go to school to maintain your grades. But Dave, I almost think as we get to the break here, at what part is it going to be, just go to school in the summertime, just play football in the fall?
It's just a joke, right? I mean, it's a charade. This whole going to school thing for a lot of guys is a joke. It gets in the way of them chasing their dream, and that's to become a professional at a higher level. And so it becomes very frustrating for us who remember the old days and want to see national championships. But going to school is ridiculous,
All right, on the other side, how does this new deal between the NCAA and the House, Congress, United States government, affect Title IX? And what's it like to be a parent of one of those student athletes who's about to make a bunch of money? We'll tell you as Offside Sports continues right after this.